Well, it's been just a few weeks since crazed gunman Mohammed Abdulazeez opened fire at a Navy center, a recruiting center in Chattanooga, killing 5 of our nation's service members. Now, according to new reports, officials are telling Fox News they aren't ruling out charges against that center's commanding officer. He used his own gun to fire back at the shooter, apparently. And again, just to be clear, the Pentagon is still charging him for doing that. Joining us now to react, Fox News contributor and CEO of Concerned Veterans for America, Major Pete Hegseth. Pete, it's great to see you this morning. It's hard even to believe this story is true. And so we checked. Our D.C. bureau called over to the Pentagon and said, are you really considering charging this man, this lieutenant commander, for discharging his weapon? And they said this, quote, still looking at tons of data, so can't completely rule anything out. This feels like upside down world.
Oh, it is upside down world. We should be pinning a medal on this man's chest who took decisive action against an Islamist attacker who killed 5 of his fellow service members. Instead, literally, the Navy is not ruling out charging this guy with illegal possession of a firearm in a gun-free zone while these guys are being gunned down. I mean, the Secretary of the Navy, Mabus, if he wanted to, could squash this. From the top down, say, no way, this ain't going to happen. He's deciding not to. In many ways, Tucker, you know this. I mean, even military members can be slaves to the bureaucracy. The political correctness has gone wild, and here you go.
Well, especially, it's the biggest bureaucracy in the world, I believe. I don't think this is going to happen in the end. I think there would be massive protests if they actually charge this guy. My question is, why doesn't the Navy Secretary see this and immediately come to the obvious conclusion this is insane even to consider it? What does it say about the judgment of the people in charge that they wouldn't reach that conclusion instantly?
Well, we've stripped the warrior ethos out of a lot of this military. I mean, you've got a lot of folks that are more interested in the regulations, the safety, the risk mitigation, the political correctness, as opposed to doing the difficult, tough thing in the moment. I mean, this is the same military that instead of arming recruiters after this attack, told them to not wear their uniforms and draw the blinds, you know, don't see me, don't shoot at me. I mean, there's not a lot of seriousness right now at the top in light of this threat that is on the homeland for these people. And so they're following the regulations. He's just following the regulations as if everything is normal. The world has changed. We got a real enemy coming after these folks, and we have to realize that. Have some folks with some courage, Tucker, really. Instead, they're still playing this bureaucratic game, and you get really silly instances like this.
Right.
If Mavis doesn't change this, there will be an outrage. And Lieutenant Colonel Alan West is really leading the charge on this. A lot of us will as well if this really did happen.
Well, that's it. It seems like people have lost sight of the purpose of the military, which is not to offer career and job opportunities to everybody in America, but to what? To win wars. Isn't that the sole purpose for having a military?
Yes, indeed, Tucker, you are correct. But, those details, those pesky details, that is what the military is for fighting and winning war, closing with and destroying the enemy. And in this instance, this Navy commander on this post, on his day job, stateside, is confronted with Islamists mowing down his men. He pulls out his personal firearm and returns fire, likely saving the lives of others. And instead of having a massive ceremony and pinning him with a pin and calling this guy a hero, we're behind the scenes working through the bureaucracy to determine if he was against the regulations, which is indicative of a culture that unfortunately doesn't hold up the warrior and the warrior ethos the way that it should. I think this will change, Tucker, but only because shows like yours are shining light on it, and let's hope it does change.
So really quickly, Pete, if our viewers have feelings on this, have views on this, to whom should they communicate those? How can they make their voice heard as
Secretary of the
awaits?
Navy Mabus, find him, call him, let him know, call your congressman, tell your congressman to let him know. I think a quick surge on this would make all the difference.
Pete Hegseth, it's always great to see you, Pete. Thanks a lot.
You got it. Thank you.